Hey Scrappy friends, welcome back to my channel. Helen here. I've got a layout today inspired by this from Sarah Davis of Hey Little Magpie. I will link to her channel and Instagram and yeah, in the comments below. The photo, I actually recorded this video in very beginning of September. It would have been, gosh, it would have been around the 1st, 2nd of September, something like it was before I went to Nestbots Kits anyway in Birmingham, because half my stuff's in a bag and I just used what I could reach on my desk to make this. So I've mixed up some green with a bit of blue to try and get a more of a jadey colour, and then some black to make it a little darker. It's quite bright still, but it does dry a lot darker. So I've just used a palette knife there to mix the paint and then scrape the paint through the middle of the page and then just do some dash marks with the palette knife as well. I was going to stamp on it, but I need archival ink, and that was on order from Sarah at this point. So Sarah's layout had a lot of squares down the middle and then cut some of those squares in half into triangles. I've gone with circles. I've pulled out my green scrap box. So Sarah's layout was from her her scraps series last year that she did. So it made me pull out this box of green scraps, leftover offcuts. Not so I really don't like calling them scraps because if they were scrap, they'd be in the bin. Do you know what I mean? Some offcuts, my leftover bits when I broke down a collection. I tend not to break down collections now, so this hasn't been added to for many, many years, which, you'll see a lot of really old. You might recognise some old collections in there. So I'm just cutting circle. I think it's the 1.5-inch circle punch that I'm using here, and I'm really not being fussy about what greens are used. There's lots of different greens in the photos because most of us are wearing like khaki and different shades of that day. So yeah, I just thought doing lots of different greens would actually be okay with the different shades of green and a few blues that we are wearing. Um, so yeah, so I wasn't being fussy about them all, being the same colour palette or anything like that. I just wanted to really mix it up. And with patterns and different tones and shades of colour, the more you add, the more it works. So, that again was another reason for it not being too precious about that. The photo is from Southport Air Show that we went to. I think it was the 30th of August. We went on Saturday, and it's all of us. So myself, Mr. Ding, my two oldest nieces, their partners, little O and little man, and then my brother-in-law Andy, Grandrew, and one of my other nieces, my younger brother's second oldest, so Caris is there as well. I've backed the photo in that grid paper just to give it a little bit of separation from the different greens on the background. And then I'm going to spend about an hour faffing with this. It wasn't an hour, it was about 10 minutes. Faffing with these circles to get them how I would like them. And all in a line about halfway along the page. Like I said, I was going to do some stamping on this background as well, but I did make the paint very bumpy, and also I need archival ink. I've given up on the stays. If you've watched me before, you've ever seen me have to pull stays on out, you know how much I dislike stays on. And not just because the whole getting it cleaned up, that doesn't bother me. It's the smell. I don't like marzipan. I don't like almond. I really hate the smell, that fake almond smell of stays on. So I avoid using it at all costs. Um, so yeah, I've bought archival now for this kind of thing. But I didn't have it on this day. It was being collected the following weekend from Nestbots Kits UK weekend. Um, so just getting I'm using wet glue again because it's on my desk to get these stuck down. The ATG is away for the weekend away, so that's all packed already. And yeah, so I'm just going to use wet glue on my desk. And wet glue is better when you're going onto mixed media and onto paint, stuff like that, because it's going to grip better. And again, paints all depend on your climate and where you are in the world, but not paint, sorry, glue. Depends on your climate, where you are in the world. But yeah, where I am, wet glue is so much better for mixed media. And I think as a rule, it's better anyway. So that's all the circles and semicircles all stuck down, more or less happy with where they are. Just giving a little wiggle to one of them. And I'm really glad that I did move that top semicircle on the left, because looking at this, watching the video, I'm thinking, please, please have moved that one, because that just disappears against the white background. And it has been moved, so that's good. So stuck the picture down, decided if I'm doing any accents at the side of the circles, and I've not done that. And then what I'm going to do is pull out my nest box, no, not nest box, my Hey Little Magpie embellishment kits, which reminds me November's arrived yesterday, and I need to have a mooch. March had a lot of greens in it, St. Patrick's Day, etc. So there was a lot of greens in March. So I did pull March out. I also decided I wanted to use some ribbon down the middle, and instead of pulling the picture up and using a whole length of ribbon, I've just cut 2 pieces off the ribbon and had them stuck coming out the top and out the bottom of the photo. So there you go. I just added that, a little bit of the yellow and the black and white, just to give a little bit of variety from all the greens on the background. And then, yeah, going through the embellishments. I love this little rainbow, and these like little paper clips. I don't know the actual proper name for them, but these little pins, like shaped safety pins that attach them on, are great. And sometimes I will mess about until I can get it flat, and sometimes I just give up and glue it on, which I think is what I've done here. I've just given up and glued it on. Um, and yeah, just going through, deciding what I want to use out of that kit. I'm just going to get bits glued down now, and then add some more pieces once it's all glued down. And I know where these pieces are sat, so there we go. And yeah, so just having that foam puffy, it's like a puffy fabric heart. Um, really like that. Hiding the hanger from the rainbow underneath that puffy heart, because then you can't see it's supposed to be on a hanger. And then the little charm with the heart in it as well, that's hanging down from the smile. That smile's leatherette, and then these are mini crochet flowers and little kind of like clothes label type thing that is lovely little ribbon embellishment on the side. More crochet flowers, and I was going to say, I thought I put that ribbon. I tried that bow and I was like, no, it's not going to work. Okay, so I do add some sequins, and I really think on the bottom right, I've pulled them out too far. When I do them on the top left, they're all kept quite close in to the vertical of the layout, and I wish I'd done that on the bottom right as well. I see what I mean in a moment. So these are principles that come with this particular kit, and I've just cut off one of the labels there, and now I'm going to attack the sequins. So I did this like sprinkle it and stick it where they land, and yeah, I really do think I've had them come out far too far on the bottom. I should have kept them closer to the horizontal design of the layout than I do at the bottom. But yeah, I'm just going to get these all stuck down. I actually thought I cut some of this out, because how boring is watching me fight with a really old quick cuts pickup stick and glue sequins down. Yeah, you see, I'm just sticking them where they landed. I really should have like encouraged them to come in a little bit closer. Okay, and then so it's that point I'm like, oh, I need to add more closer to the middle, because that's come out too far and I really don't like that. And then we're going to the top, and you can see I don't stick all of them, but I do, stick some more or less where they landed, and then pull out some others. Okay, I'm much happier with that at the top left, where it's just along the paint line. Gosh, it's a lot of sticking. I also hadn't noticed the camera had moved, so sorry about that. A bit wonky on this point. Just getting that all away, and then off to find some 49 and Market inks. Here we go. So with this ink, you'll see me fight one in a minute. Oh gosh, I can't see the colour there. And I decided that's actually not really what I was going for, so I pulled this one out, which I think was the caramel. You can see with these ink pads, the lids are quite tight. Some of them will come straight off, and some of them you just need to encourage them. I just got my palette knife in between it a little bit and it came off. But there you go. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.